podcast
It's
together.
mental. But the original thing before the podcast was even considered, we've created Half Step. We've put months into that, and Half Step is a male equestrian clothing range, which in the future we are looking to include females as well.
Expand. We're just trying to find our niche at the moment, the way into it.
A lot of it has come from the start and struggles that you've had,
of course,
as a dressage rider.
Yes.
And I just want to talk to you a little bit about that, because I find it fascinating. For me, I am learning so much about the equestrian world. Even terms that just get thrown around. I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So I want to talk about how you got into horses. What happened in that gap from secondary school, where we were somewhat close but not really close?
Of course.
Because a part of me thinks, how I know you now, it felt like you was leading a double life.
Yeah, of course. And I guess especially when we first met each other in secondary school, it was like horses isn't cool in secondary school, especially being a guy and doing horses. Just like, you're the joke. You're the person that everyone picks on because you ride horses. So I tried to keep it as separate as possible. I was quite lucky that obviously I did things like rugby and everything else. So I was quite popular in school, and so were you. We're just in different groups and that. So I was quite lucky with that. But at the same time, I was still the brunt of the jokes in my group because I rode horses. But yeah, basically it just all stemmed from mum, really.
Yeah.
Mum had the passion of the horses, and then, I don't know, I started riding quite late, 7 or 8 years old, which is quite late. A lot of people start younger. Of course, some people start older, but for me personally, it was quite late for me to start wanting to ride anyway. And then it just gradually grew over that. During secondary school, I was riding. I had some success at a young age. And then I was 13, 14 years old. A pony was bought for me. And basically he turned out to be really good at dressage, and that is how I ended up doing dressage.
So when you say that you did horses, like what is that term? Like, did you just like fall in love with like stroke a horse once and go, right, shit, that looks like a smart idea to get on that absolute monster of a being and then just ride it? Or was
in
it
a way
dressage?
I knew no different. So I'd grown up around them my whole life because mum rode. So I knew no different. For me, that was normality. And then we ended up moving somewhere, and basically mum had horses. She was a dealer, which is basically you sort of not that sense. A horse dealer.
All right,
So,
that explains the house.
exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah, should have like summed that one up. And she bought horses, produces them, so tries to improve the horse and then sells them, and you make the profit, obviously. And I ended up just being involved with that, riding. And then, like I say, mum bought one horse that she was planning on bringing on and selling, and it turned out to be fantastic at dressage. And I would have been about 13 or 14, and that is what got me into doing dressage.
Right. So dressage, I've learned, is making the horse dance.
Pretty much. The easiest way of summing it up is, yes, you're asking. I know it stems from, like, if you look back at dressage, it was like designed for the military, because you're trying to make the horse literally listen to every command. And obviously when they're on the front line during war, they've got to really listen to what you're asking for. And that's how it originated. And then obviously it's developed over the years to where we are now. And yeah, so that is literally it. I had a talented pony for that. I didn't choose dressage. Dressage chose me. That's how that happened.
Well, so how do you tell that the pony's going to be good at dressage? Did you just go to the stables one morning and you're like, shit, mum, you got to come see this? Like, Bella's in the corner and she's like strutting about and like doing pirouettes.
So it's like anything. Like, obviously you start working with the horse, like riding the horse, and it's like no different to a person at school. You, throughout that time, you work out what that person is good at, whether that's math, English, or they might excel at everything.
Yeah.
Whereas with this horse, it was working on it, and we realised it had a lot of potential for dressage. Right. And by that, what we mean is that it was naturally the way it moves. So it's nothing that is forced. It's the way the horse just naturally is built, and the way of going. Of course, we try to improve that. And that's what dressage is trying to consistently improve.
Right.
But that horse had natural talent for dressage, and that is what then led me to where I am now, really.
No, exactly. So horse riding, anything related with horses,
of course.
From what I've seen. Now, I come from a background where I have nothing to do with horses.
No.
I've found a love for them through you.
Of course.
I didn't realise, how therapeutic they are. There's just a sense of calmness when you're around them.
Yeah.
But at first it was almost like absolute terror. Like they're huge and they're so strong and powerful that will just bowl me over and that's it, done.
Well, you've missed out. For me personally, I grew up with ponies. They start small, and then as you get older and bigger and stronger, then your horses get bigger and stronger because they grow. Well, you end up buying what you need at that time. So you missed out that stage. You've just come to my yard now where I've got 5 dressage horses in the yard that are absolute beasts, basically, what they are.